Yo, 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 welcome back to Hit Away Hurts. We are back again, and today we got a special topic for you guys. I know yesterday we cut out, you couldn't see us on IG or Facebook, but
Yeah,
today we're back.
that was pretty sad because that episode was so good, and what I loved about that episode was the fact that like it was a whole different like target of people, right? Like
Yeah,
we went from speaking to small business owners to speaking to a bunch of gamers and having everyone come in. It was pretty interesting.
and that's what it's all about, bro. The diversity and meeting new people, and even like there we get like the guy we had on was a gamer and a coach, kind of.
And a caster and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
goes back to the business world, it goes back to the social media marketing and all that aspect.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. And you know the heart of everything in no matter what niche we're talking about is marketing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about marketing is that it's so diverse and it really goes into every single niche. So we're really not restricted into what we could talk about, right? And
Facts.
so for today, what we are going to be talking about though is the difference between, you know, because when we are social media managers or social media marketers, that type of thing,
Yeah.
we're gonna be very fond of social media as the avenue of marketing, right? And we saw that when Jordation came on, and you know we were not Jordation, Jordan, sorry, Jordan, Jordan. When Jordan came on, and we were speaking about traditional marketing versus like social media marketing and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're really fond of like the whole social media part and everything. But one thing we fail to emphasize, and it's something that we should make very clear, is that social media, Facebook ads, all those types of ads are only tools in an advertising campaign, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have the foundations of marketing in term, and you know we may repeat some messages in this podcast, but these are really important messages that we have to get across. You know, if you don't have the foundations of the marketing campaign in terms of your ideal audience, in terms of what brand position you're trying to get into, in terms of what your actual like budget spend is, all these types of things are so important in an advertising campaign. And we can't really just sit here and say, you know, jump on Facebook and go put your Facebook ads up, you'll do well, right?
Yeah.
And a business can't come up to us and say, hey, look, we've just started, we want to go Facebook ads, how many sales can you make us? Like, it really does not work like that, right? And one thing I was listening to in Clubhouse was someone said, like, if you're coming into advertising completely brand new to it and you're choosing a platform, you should be able to answer to it to a pinpoint of why you chose that platform, right? For
Yeah.
example, I could say that we're on Facebook because we know most of our small business owner, the people that we talk to, they're going to be in those Facebook groups that we're in, right? And the
Yeah.
chances of them coming to the live would be on Facebook, not on any other platform. Well, on the other hand, we speak very modern and very cultural, that we stream on all platforms, right? Because we customize ourselves to each different platform, and I think that's the most important thing.
And you just said we stream on all platforms. We do that because our content relates to literally everyone, right?
Everyone, that's right.
Everyone's using social media. There's about like, I don't know how many percent, but a high percentage of people out there wanting to start a business on social media, an e-commerce store, this, that. There's
Sure.
small businesses out there that need help that we're trying to help as well. And that's what it's about. And you touched on a point before where you said what was it? Kind of forgot.
Like we're talking about how like you can't go into advertising unless you have a
Yeah,
reason of why you're advertising and why you're going for that platform specifically, etc.
yeah. You were talking about has it's right there. You know when it's right there, but you just can't
It's
put it
right
into
there, you
it.
just can't get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll just continue talking. So you want me to continue for now?
Continue. It'll come
Yeah.
to me
So
like other
marketing.
episodes.
Marketing is defined, so I have the definition here. This isn't like I remember it. Marketing refers to activities a company undertakes to promote the buying or selling of a product or service. Now, one thing we fail to talk about a lot on this podcast, which is one of the most important parts of marketing,
Yeah.
is attention,
Yeah.
right? Being known. No one's gonna buy a product if they don't know you, right? Like Woody would have had to make a name for themselves before they went so deep into Facebook ads. Like for any like junior, beginner, business owner, marketer, whatever you are, you're gonna go watch Davey Fogarty's video on YouTube about Facebook ads, and you're gonna go and you're gonna put as much money as he tells you to put into Facebook ads, right? And maybe you go more because you know that he saw success. He put 300 million or some bullshit like that and got massive ROAS on it, right? Return of ad spend. So you see that and you want to do the exact same, but he's not telling you, he doesn't show, I mean, he does in previous videos, but in that one video, he's not showing you the foundations of Udi, where it started, how they grew their platform, right? How they how they position themselves in the brand and the brand market. And like you said, it was such a perfect time because, like, you know, with winter, blankets, jackets, accessibility, the ability to ship worldwide, all these types of things built up the advertising campaign that made Udi as successful as it was, right? But on this podcast and watching back and like, because, you know, I was listening to Clubhouse rooms with like digital marketers, podcasts, whatever it was, like, we speak so much about the final result, the selling, the money, but we don't speak about the build up to it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think the build up is one of the most important parts of our job, because at the end of the day, if you're not known, it doesn't matter how good your advertisement is, no one's going to buy, right? No one's going to buy.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about like personal branding, brand awareness, these types of things, they can't be measured by stats, analytics, they can't, right? These are things that are built over time that have really ingrained like value in a consumer's mind. You know what I mean? The fact that someone can leave a room and then those people talk with each other about a brand and say something completely different to that person who's running that brand, that's what brand awareness is about, is knowing what people are going to say when you're not watching, right?
Yeah.
And the businesses that are thriving the most are the ones we can't shut the fuck up about, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are thriving the most because they're in our mouth. Their taste is in our mouth. There has to be a reason behind that.
I'll come back to this because I just remembered what I was gonna say. You were talking about how deep it is, and like a business can't just tell you, "Oh, here's the money. I want you to make me the most sales from Facebook ads."
Yeah.
It literally doesn't work like that. Like there's so much that goes into advertising, whether it's traditional advertising, whether it's modern advertising. Like it's not. I'll say this: it's not hard if you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
But
it's
huh? Yeah, but
like
I'm
it's an
saying
expertise type.
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But I'm
Continue.
saying like there's so much in it that you don't know. You may think like, you know, when you go on Facebook and Facebook suggests put $10, you'll get this much reach.
Yeah,
Or
I've
this.
seen that. Yeah.
When you do that, right? You're literally, it's like you're taking your $10 and just putting it in a rubbish bin. Because like that reach you're gonna get it from all different audiences. You're gonna get it from different people. Like it's not gonna be the audience that are structured to do what you want them to do. For example,
That's right.
you want to put an ad out there for people to buy a dog product you have, yeah,
Right.
and you choose that Facebook suggested to promote your post. You pay for that, and then now your post has all this reach, this that, but you're making no sales, and you're like, what the hell is this? This is literally because Facebook took your post and put it in front of every single person that could see it first, right?
Yeah.
So that meant there could be people that don't like dogs that saw it. There could be this, that. You know what I mean?
It's like and like it was best explained to me when I was speaking to a really successful marketer. He said, you know, if someone comes to you with ad money and they want to go straight into ads and they haven't done any research and they want you to go, it's basically like running into a brick wall. Right? It's literally like running headfirst into a brick wall and hoping that you'll turn into Iron Man and break that brick wall through. Now, while you were talking, Richard said, check out the Johari window. And I actually looked it up and I'll act like I know what it is. But basically, it's a table, right? It's a table. And it says, what's known to others but not known to self is the blind spot. And I think what he's trying to say by that is that blind spot is where the brand awareness mostly is. It's the part that we don't see but is known to others, right? And I hope I got it right, Richard. If we're not, correct us. But yeah, like that's really important. It's a table that speaks about, you know, known to self and known to others at the same time. That's what's open. That's open information. Not known to others, right? But known to self is hidden, obviously, because only you know it. But something that is known to others but not known to self is likely what you can't measure, right? Because you don't know it. Yeah, you don't know it. That's why it's called the blind spot, right? You say,
I'm like a bit confused. Like, you know, it's like I haven't heard of it before.
Yeah. So something that's known to your consumers, right?
Yeah.
Something that's known to your consumers, but not known to yourself, is a blind spot for us because we don't know what the consumers know exactly.
I see.
Right?
I guess
so, for example, like the snarky comments that people make about brands, like. I'll give a really good example, like how people say Red Rooster is a money laundering business. I'd say that's the blind spot for Red Rooster, right? Because obviously, like it's like something that's grown in Red Rooster as a joke, but it's what their brand is known for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's considered that of the blind spot of the thing, and it's called a blind spot for a good reason. Like, I mean, I'm just inferring from what I know that the blind spot really has to do with the fact that we can't measure it. We can't see what other people are seeing, right? We only see what we know and what they tell us. We could do a million questionnaires, polls on Instagram, all different social medias, but we won't actually get a good take on where our brand is in the position, right? And what people truly think about it. And that's the most important part about marketing, and not all of it comes from social media, this understanding. A lot of it comes from, you know, as I said, a lot of listening, right? Understanding the market, understanding where the market is actually going.
Oh, it says here the Johari
Mm.
window, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
It has 4 quadrants. So
Yeah,
the second one, which is the blind spot, which is actions and behaviors and behaviors in the blind area are known to
Yeah.
others, but the individual is not aware of them. So I'm
100%.
guessing it's not known to us as
That's
say
right.
as
That's
a
what I'm
business.
saying.
Yeah.
So the consumers know
Know
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put it on the screen on Instagram for anyone wondering what we were talking about. You know, like the consumers know about it,
Yeah.
but it's not known to us because it's brand awareness. It's the things that people won't say to you. It's the things that is too hard for a business owner to figure out because it has to do with each person's individual experience with the business. Like I use Red Rooster as an example, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they're enforcing it because it's a joke, but everyone thought Red Rooster was a money laundering business, right? That's not something that someone will go tell Red Rooster, right? That's not something like a PR guy will say, hey, look, you know, Red Rooster, people think you're a money laundering business. Like, that's the blind spot of their branding, right? And
do you
yeah,
think that's how it works? But I feel like
For
that's not
sure.
how it works.
for sure, because it's what people are saying about the brand that other people that like they don't know themselves, right? And it's what should like there was nothing else that was notable about Red Rooster at the time, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone was making jokes about how it's a money laundering business, that they have no customers, and you see them on TikTok now, right? Now that they've addressed that blind spot to an extent, right? That more people are resonating with it because it's something that they're not meant, like it's something that's supposed to be their blind spot, but now they're recognizing it, right? And they're
Yeah.
enforcing it. And Richard said you can limit the blind spot, market research and listening, but you still won't know everything. And that's exactly right. And that's why that blind spot is something that like businesses forget about, obviously, because you can't see it, you can't measure it, right? But it's one of the most important things in an advertising campaign.
Yeah, I mean, they'll only know about it if people start mentioning it, if people start talking about it and stuff like that.
For sure.
But I just want to go back to a point where you said talking about the Uri, right?
Yeah.
You said about the Facebook stuff.
Yeah, Facebook ads.
Yeah. I reckon. So I was watching a video of him. You know what he did at the start?
Yeah.
He didn't go all out on Facebook ads. So he went out on influencers. And that's what people need to consider nowadays as well with marketing. Like, influencers are a big deal. Like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. You don't have to go for big following influencers. They can literally be like small accounts with like 1,000, 10,000 followers.
Exactly.
If they're in your niche, that will go a long way. And that's like marketing.
Like let me give an example. Now I feel like on TikTok I finally broke into that niche of my ideal audience, right? Of our ideal audience, where it's small businesses, all these people posting about, you know, their candle businesses, their whatever, all these small businesses, right? If I had got one of them to promote Zorus Media, right? Speaking practical here, if I had got one of them to promote Zorus Media, they all get, let's say, 126 likes on their page. They're not anything big. But I know they're a part of that small business in Melbourne industry that I know if one of them wants to promote it, it gets the reach that we want. Whereas if I go to any small business who still count themselves small business, but they're really big now, they have millions of followers, blah, 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 and they do it, we might get more reach, but not the right reach. You know what I mean? And so it's really important when you're doing that influencer marketing type of things that you're choosing the right influencers, and sometimes that will mean less followers is better because it's more targeted. And I just want to comment on Richard said, with branding, you could still try and create the perception, but once it's out there, as much as you want to control it, you can't 100%, you know? And I can't think of any other examples other than Red Rooster, but do you know any other examples?
I don't know, bro, honestly.
Like certain things that happen with the business that make people think of them a certain way. You can't control that, right? Because that's the blind spot for the business. It's the part that people are always going to think. It's
Yeah.
built up, and this can go good and this can go bad as well. And Richard said you gotta love brand ambassadors as well. Shane Warne promoting hair replacement. yeah, right,
I might have to
right.
check him out, bro.
But you don't even need to know like
No,
the
you know what I
situation.
mean. You know what I mean.
Oh yeah. but bro, like the most random fucking influencers promoting the most random brand. Like, bro, let's talk real. Like Snoop Dogg, like a gangster rapper, he has like an Uber Eats song, right?
I'll
It's
see
so
that.
out of
Actually,
place.
it looks sick.
It's different, but it feels so out of place, right? It's like
But
they're
look
the
at it.
brand
But look at it
ambassadors.
this way.
It worked.
Marketing is all about like entertaining,
Disruptive
that ad is literally, it's like funny and like sick at the same time. So it's like, because you got to create something that's shareable and it stays with you, something you don't forget, right? And that you just talking about it, it's unforgettable.
It's obviously stuck in our head.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just funny that brand ambassadors, they're usually completely unrelated. Like Shane Warne is an Australian cricket commentator, right?
Yeah.
And he's promoting hair replacement. You know, like where's his like why are we gonna verify him, right? He plays cricket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, like little things like that. While sometimes they can work, it's also really important to know what influencers you want to go with, because the viewers and the audience of those influencers are the ones that are going to be promoted to, right?
Yeah.
And if that's not the right one, it doesn't matter how large it is. And so that's really important. Brand ambassadors and influencers are 100%. And you know, like we touched on it a little bit, but your marketing campaign and your business format has to be firm for your advertising to work. By that I mean, like, if you have a shit landing page, you have no real like understanding of how you're going to make the sale and what you're actually selling. Doesn't matter how good your advertising is, right? And the real part of selling, like let's just say we're doing like an ad for DMs and stuff, right? The real ad of selling is in the DMs, right? The ability to sell to someone in the DMs is a lot different to the ability to advertise. And sometimes people think that, you know, like certain media agencies, well, that's all included in it, right? But it's really a separate thing. That whole selling part is a whole different thing. And so breaking it up into these different parts into your campaign and understanding it is really important.
So what do you mean by like selling in your DMs and then
so for example, let's say we run a Facebook ad campaign, right?
Yeah.
And we get them to message. From that point, we could get really good clicks, right? Really good people DMing. But from that point, it's up to the business, right? To be able to sell their product to that person, right? We've bought the interest. We've got them, like, you know, ready to buy the product. But obviously, there has to be that interaction where it leads to a sale.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, all right, so with that, it's all different from a landing page. So when you advertise, because you kind of like intercepted, but no, I get what you mean.
What a landing page and DMs are.
Just for people out there to understand it more fully. But like honestly, without a good landing page, without a good website that you're advertising to, you're not gonna get anything. And when you have a website that's not user friendly, that means your ad's gone down to the bin. People wanna go to a website that they can purchase a product easily, right? They don't want to be clicking here, clicking there. They want to do it in 2 to 3 clicks max and be out. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of like companies these days, they're paying millions of dollars for people to optimize their websites so they can make it user friendly. Because like if they're doing that, like, you know that there's something there, and if your website isn't like that like you gotta change it ASAP.
100%. And did the Instagram stream stop? Because I just saw.
No, it's still going.
Oh, it's good. Okay. I was wondering what Richard was questioning, but 100%. And not all marketing, like we said, like, you know, there could be marketing with the focus of building brand awareness type of thing, right?
Yeah.
We see that a lot. Not all marketing is about the sales short term, right? Some of it could be a long term game. For example, like, you know, Gary Vee's strategy of when he does Facebook ads. And he'll set it out a Facebook ad, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be like, for example, a video completely unrelated to like the sale. and he'll retarget in the next ad send, right? He'll retarget in the next one 85% the people that watched 85% of that video and
Yeah.
try to sell to them, right? So that's like more of a long-term game, and you'd have to think about it for that business, for whoever that he was doing it for. They'd have to understand that they weren't going for the sales in the short term; they were going for the long-term game, right? And people, the minute they start to get into branding marketing, they're like, all right, how can I sell? How can I sell? How can I sell? But it all comes down to the foundations that build up to the sale of your product or service, and everything that comes up after the sale as well. Like you said, like the landing page, the DM, optimizing your website, those types of things are all just as important as it's like in my opinion, it's like a train with carriages, right? Each carriage has to go for the whole train to go. Or if one carriage is off, the whole train fails, right? Exact same in the campaign.
It's like this, bro. Like, you can't just with the ad campaign, right? Say if you're selling a product or something. With a product, yeah, you gotta put an ad campaign for a product. But what Gary Vee does is he's selling himself, right?
100.
So he puts out, like Mark said, he had a video there, yeah? So that video with the people watching it, that meant that people were interested in him, right? When people are interested in him and what he's preaching, they're gonna be interested in what he's gonna be selling later on, right? So see what he's done there. It's like a double thing. He's won a new audience, and he's used that new audience to convert them into consumers, right? He's made sales out of them. So that's what you got to do. Like, sometimes people, like you said, they think short term. They're like, okay, we're gonna make an ad. We wanna get the most sales out of it. Yeah,
100%.
But at times you gotta collect emails. You gotta collect likability. You gotta collect audience, see who's interested,
100%.
who's not, and then you gotta go in with it and retarget.
The problem is that people are so caught up with the ROAS, right? Return on ad spend. They're so caught up with it. If that number is low, that's it. They're fucking pissed, right? And you have to understand that in long-term strategy, sometimes the first one will not perform as good as the second one, right? Especially if you're testing as well. If you're testing different types of call to actions and that type of thing, some of them will perform, some of them won't. And at the end of the day, marketing is something to do with experimenting, right? You have to try to understand. And one thing that really like annoys me is that people always say like, oh, like, you know, digital marketers, social media marketers, they all say the same thing about ideal audience. But there's a reason we do, right? Like, bro, I scroll on TikTok, all these small businesses, right?
Yeah.
They're still using hashtag small business on TikTok, right? All their hashtags are completely related to small businesses. Who's going to be seeing your content, right? Like, obviously, we'd hope that outside of TikTok, they know who their ideal audience is, right? We'd hope. We're praying. I'm praying for that. But by the looks of like the way they're optimizing their site, the keywords they're using, that type of thing, they are literally just trying to sell to other small businesses. And I know that's not what they're trying to do. But because they know small business is their community, they think it's their ideal audience. It's two completely different things. Social media manager life, social media, you know, all that social media stuff that we talk about, that's our community, that's our niche. But our ideal audience is small business owners, two completely different things, right? And when I'm doing my hashtags, when we're doing our optimization, we try to split it in the half, right? And it depends on the video as well. If the video is more focused towards our ideal audience, we're going to put 60%, 40%, right? If it's more focused towards our thing, then, you know, we change it up. But what I've seen from what I could see and what I'm viewing on businesses on the come up right now is that the reason they're failing is because they're selling to the wrong fucking people. And so they're trying to run all these ads, but running them to the wrong people. Who are you actually targeting? And then they blame it on Facebook ads, right? They blame it on they say Facebook ads don't work no more, right? They blame it on TikTok algorithm. It's definitely not that. Like I said, it's the foundations. Once you miss that, the whole house falls down. And that's like really important.
I want to touch on one thing you said about the hashtags.
Yeah.
Sometimes you really gotta like use the hashtags that are within your niche.
Yeah, of course.
So with those, that's the people that you're targeting, because those people are looking at those hashtags. That's the people in your niche. But you, at the same time, yeah, if you're using hashtags, you can use other hashtags that are semi to your trend, to your niche, right?
Yeah.
So all right, like you can't be using half to your niche and then half that say like FYP and shit like that, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Because like you got to make sure they're semi related to your niche, yeah.
Yeah.
And also like experiment. You don't just be doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Like right now with Instagram, some videos I use hashtags, some videos I don't use hashtags, and I see the difference. I've realized that with some videos that I haven't used hashtags, they get more reach. More people
100%.
see them. More people
Yeah.
come and follow us and stuff like that. That means we're tapping into a whole new market. People that don't follow those hashtags that we normally use, that brings them to us, right?
For sure.
And
For sure.
and let's go back to the ads and stuff on Facebook ads.
Yep.
You gotta know, like we always say this, and it's important to know this. You gotta know your audience.
Yeah.
Once you know your audience, you'll know who to target. You'll know the demographic, the age group, the gender, because you can't just go on Facebook ads and be like, okay, I'm gonna target 18-year-olds to 65-year-olds. I'm gonna target worldwide. I'm gonna because if you don't know this, right? If you did that, that means your ad is gonna be your ad is gonna be put out to India. India, there is 2 billion. I think it's like 1 point something billion users. I don't know. Yeah. So that means your ad is going to a market where no one is going to do anything with it. They're just going to look at it and skip, right?
And yeah.
And like I'm not saying this just from my own point of view. Yeah, I've seen it because I've learned it. I've seen a lot of marketers talk about it.
For sure.
You got to make sure to put who you're gonna target, like what country is that. There's a lot that goes into it that you just
100%.
gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and bro, the point you're touching on is so important, and I don't think we've ever said it on the podcast that if you're advertising to everyone, you're advertising to no one. And as marketers, we focus so much on stats and analytics, just as much as we focus on the things that don't have stats and analytics, like brand awareness, attention, blah blah blah. We focus on the stats and the analytics, and so when we're doing a demographic so fucking large, what are you gonna learn from that? So you know, we can't advertise to the rest of the world. No one's our customer, right? Like, what do you learn? That's why you have to take that risk by going into different demographics, not only in one demographic, but 2 and 3 and 4, and test it out and see where it's performing. Retargeting is something. Once you find that gold spot, you go straight back in there, right?
100%.
And if it's too wide, like I wrote it on LinkedIn, if it's too wide or too little, you don't learn anything, right?
Definitely.
You have to find that happy medium, and that happy medium is right where your ideal audience is. And if you don't know where that is, don't spend on ads, please. You're going to lose money, and you're gonna blame the internet. You're gonna blame whoever the fuck you're working with, and it's gonna be your fault, right? You're lacking the relevant research and the foundations to what an advertising campaign requires. And I want to distance ourselves from the social media gurus who make it look so fucking easy, because honestly, like, I was getting to that point because I've learned it so much now that I do speak about it like it's easy. I do. And so I really wanted to go down into this episode and really go into why it's not just chucking your business on Facebook and you're good, you know? Or chucking your business on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. There's a lot that comes down to it. And if you don't know about it, do your research.
100%.
Or DM us.
100%. And I'm just gonna leave you guys with this, right? If you don't know anything, if you're new into advertising and stuff like that, don't go straight into Facebook and Google ads. Yes, a lot of people say that's the way. No, it's not. You gotta think outside the box. Go to influencers. Use influencers to market your product. Use meme pages on like Instagram and shit like that to push out your products, right?
For sure.
That way, you're using money that will get you money that like you put like. All right, let me rephrase. You're using your money knowing that your product is going to be put out to the right audience.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%. And just like the last point before we just get to the business, you know, you have two aims when you're doing that type of thing. You're either learning or you're selling, right? And you could do both. But if you're not selling, you're going to be learning. And if you're not learning, you're going to be selling, right? So it's really important. All right, so guys, at the end of every single, if you're new here, at the end of every single Hit It Where It Hurts episode, we shout out one small business who signs up through the form that's in our bios. If you guys want to go take a look at it. Today we have, let me know when you have it up.
It's already up.
Sweet. Today we have my good friend Kiara. She's running a cosmetic tattoo salon in Melbourne, opening up soon. She's fully certified, and yeah, if you need your eyebrows done, I know I need mine because lockdown's a bit fucked up, and you want to get it tattooed or whatever, make sure you guys go hit up Artistry by Kiara on IG. Her link will be in all the chats. And if you guys want a shout out for your business or whatever you're doing, whatever you want to sign up, whatever you want to shout out, just click that form in our bio. It's going to be on our link tree, and I'm going to repost it in Facebook and Instagram now. If you still don't get it, just DM us and I'll be able to give it. Do you want me to just really address the comments? I missed it. I can name one. Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria in Washington, D.C. It was the famous pizzeria involved in what was known as Pizzagate. I remember that. The conspiracy theory that was debunked about them involved in child trafficking. They got pegged with that label and had to close down. See what I mean? You can't really do anything about it. It all started from a meme. Like the Pizzagate thing was like some meme because a lot of celebrities were like going in a closet or some shit at that pizza place. Do you know about it?
Nah.
Oh, okay. It's basically like some Illuminati type shit, right? They closed down. They literally closed down. Yeah, like and they were like one of the best, right?
Shit.
I'm so sorry, Gazadev, for coming so late to your comment. I fully missed it. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming to watch Hit It Where It Hurts. I'm going to post that form link in all of our social chats just now. If you guys want to sign up, let me know.